Welcome to Bad Teacher Tales, real talk, stories, and advice for teachers and those who love them. Each episode, Skara and Sly bring you the good, the bad, and the what the hell of daily teacher life. If we make you laugh, gasp, or question your career choices, hit like, share, and subscribe. Have a story to share? Link is in the notes. Drop it like a late assignment. All educational contributors are welcome, even our heroic custodians. You see everything and know the real dirt, so don't be shy. Send it in. These opinions aren't necessarily those of the hosts or Bad Teacher Tales. Some content may not be suitable for children. I know. Listener discretion advised.
Welcome to Bad Teacher Tales. As you listen to this episode, keep in mind that this is a self-produced and edited podcast with no prior knowledge of how podcasts work. I have learned and grown since these earlier episodes. I promise the quality gets better as you move through Season 1 and into Season 2. As an educator, I value the learning process and work to give my students grace as they make mistakes along the way. Please allow us these same considerations while listening to these earlier episodes. Thank you. I had another blonde moment the other day. I have a coworker who is looking wonderful. Shout out. She knows who I'm talking about. And she has shared with me what she does, but one of her smoothie recipes. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to start making smoothies. And I bought myself a cute Lisa Frank smoothie blender thing.
Absolutely.
Because why would I get a normal one?
Exactly. Because 90s are back in, and Lisa Frank was like life.
The 90s.
It was the color of the 90s. And if you know anything about Lisa Frank, it is all
the colors.
All the colors.
Well, this was all the cheetah print colors.
Yes.
I know. I digress. So she was telling me what she puts in her smoothies and then telling me how, she waits until her bananas get, the right ripeness where they're sweet. And so then she puts them in the freezer to use for her smoothies. I'm like, that's great. Awesome.
Yeah, because then you don't have to use ice.
Yeah. And then, so my bananas at home were just right, and they would normally have been thrown out at this point. Mm-hmm. So I put them in the freezer. Whole. She didn't tell me
I know you can't see the look on my face right now. But imagine what you look like when you face palm. That is exactly what's happening right now. Oh, God. How did that go for you, Skara?
So I go to make a smoothie.
Please tell me you took the peel off.
I took the whole banana out of the freezer.
Realize your mistake yet?
And sent a picture asking, how do I do this now?
Okay, so in case you are curious what the answer is, it is you leave the banana on the counter and you go through the McDonald's drive-thru. That's how you do that now. You are past the point of making a smoothie today. You do not have the time.
I felt pretty special. I did actually try putting it in the fridge and letting it, it doesn't work.
No,
it just
that's a lot of
gets
water.
Gross.
Yep.
And squishy and
very wet.
So they all went in the trash.
Welcome to Bad Teacher Tales, where each week we share the good, the bad, and the what the hell of daily teacher life. We'll expose workplace woes that range from unrealistic to impossibly asinine. We'll postulate on parental problems and admin antics. We might even learn a helpful tip or trick. And while we may be bad teachers, we will always leave remembering our why. Those beautiful, bright, baffling students. The opinions read in this episode do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts or Bad Teacher Tales. Some language and situations may be unsuitable for children. Ironic, I know. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Skara, and I'm a middle school theater director, fine arts department head, new teacher mentor, dance team and pep squad coach, and national board candidate. And I'm here with Sly again.
Who is apparently not an overachiever like Skara. All right, so I'm Sly. I've been teaching for 13 years. I'm a middle school choir director. I'm a former elementary music teacher for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
Left teaching and came back.
Welcome to the big kids with their big attitudes and lots of hormones.
Oh, they had those in elementary school too.
I know, but It's more fun in middle school.
They're weirder in middle school.
They are
I've got to
weirder.
tell you, the reason I think I actually enjoy my job more in middle school is because I am the same level of weird that they are, and we vibe very well. Also, like, they understand sarcasm now, which is my main, that is my main language of speaking is sarcasm.
Yeah, I'm fluent in sarcasm.
Yeah, and they get that. And also, I've, since I said I taught elementary, I actually taught a lot of my current middle schoolers because my elementary feeds into the school I'm at now. And it's been really interesting.
I bet it's been fun.
I've seen some of these babies grow since kindergarten.
I love that. That's so great.
Some of them have really amazed me with how much they've grown up.
That's awesome. Well, we have another middle school theater teacher from Houston who has a story for us today. You ready?
I don't know. That sounds like a lot of drama. But
No. Oh my gosh. Drama goes on the stage, not life.
Yeah, what?
All right, ready? Picture this. I'm refocusing you. Picture this, she says. It's fall 2019, pre-pandemic.
Oh, when life
I
was
wonder if that's
semi-normal.
important. Let's find out. I'm 3 weeks in at a new school as the new assistant theater director. The program is in shambles. The previous theater director and in my position changed jobs within the school 3 days before school began. And the teacher that was hired right before me walked out after about a week on the job.
What?
Oh my gosh.
That was a lot of information
Let's break it down.
in one paragraph.
So she got hired because she replaced someone that had had worked up until right before the start of school and then switched jobs in the school.
Red flag number 1.
And then the teacher that she started with, and then the teacher that was hired right before me walked out. So I'm having to process this.
That's a lot of red flags in one paragraph.
The
Let's
previous
just go with that.
theater teacher in my position changed jobs within the school 3 days before the school began. And then the teacher that was hired right before me walked out about a week on the job. So there was 3 teachers in this one position in a week and a half.
That's a lot of red flags.
That's what I'm reading.
That's crazy.
Okay, she says, needless to say, when I took the position, the students were weary and doubt-filled. The head theater director, we'll call her the head director from now on, was uncertain. And the parents, though very supportive of me, were very doubtful of the program itself and the head director. Give or take a few parents.
That's a lot of abandonment.
Well, I mean, as a parent, I could understand that take, but also I feel like being a teacher, it leads me to have a little bit more grace and sympathy and empathy and all the things, especially a new teacher coming into those circumstances.
Yeah, but I mean, even from the kids' point of view, because I watched my students go through something very similar last year because they had 3 teachers in 6 months. 4 teachers in 6 months.
What was it last year? Because my daughter went through all the teachers, 20 of them.
Yeah, so, I mean, I get it, but the first thing she said was the students were really weary.
Yeah.
Because they're just okay, is another person going to come in?
Are you going to
decide
leave?
we're too much and we're not good enough for them and we're not worth staying? So from the student standpoint, that's hard. That's really hard.
Well, there was one parent who was very protective of her student. We will call him Tony. Well,
oh boy.
Well, Tony was very well known throughout the school.
Of course he was.
For his behavior and was rarely quiet, to say the least. However, Tony did have a gift for acting and memorizing lines and was therefore given a chance to play the lead by the head director for our competition show called UIL.
I'm so hopeful. Come on, Tony. Come on. I'm rooting for you, Tony.
I don't know if it's going to go well if he's mentioned early in the story.
Nope. We're rooting for him. We are choosing positivity today. Tony's going to do awesome. I'm manifesting Tony's going to do awesome.
Let's find out.
Do not burst my bubble. Come on, Tony.
As I was still getting to know the students and the parents, I recall an interaction between this parent and admin after one of our school performances. The admin was very cordial and welcoming to the parent, and the parent virtually ignored the admin's hellos. Needless to say, when it was time for UIL, Tony's parent chose to volunteer, and I thought she would be very helpful, especially since it was my first UIL ever. Well, the phrasing on that doesn't lend itself to positivity when she says, I thought she would be helpful.
And I was really happy to find out I was right, is where that's going to go, right? Please say yes. Please say yes.
After the competition, Tony kept having some major behavior issues.
Oh, Tony.
He even screamed in the face of a female school police officer one time.
Oh, this is not good.
All the teachers knew this parent because while this parent was very active and a teacher herself in the same school district, she basically ripped any teacher a new one whenever her student was disciplined.
Oh, her precious angel who never does anything wrong. Gotta
Yeah.
love those kids and those parents. I find teacher kids are either the best kids or the opposite. Because, like, I've had either experience. I've either had, oh, you're so-and-so's kid? Oh, you're one? She's been so helpful. Like, my kid. That is the report I get from my kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've had the parent that I have to talk to every couple days because of their kid. And that parent is a teacher down the hallway. And I hate talking to parents when their kids misbehave, if they're teachers.
Oh, it's difficult. Well,
It's
the
worst.
It is, but you also expect them to come from the same point of view as you and know that I'm not calling you because I just feel like it. I'm calling you and I'm taking the time so that we can be on the same side and help your child be as successful and good of a human as they can be. Not
but like,
it's hard teachers
to talk
a new one.
Yeah, it's hard to talk to other teachers about their kids. But like when you're coming at a teacher like that, that's ridiculous.
She wanted to know detail for detail of all of Tony's behavior and basically trusted no one. This was especially true in the theater and with the head director. The parent called for multiple conferences, and in the second parent conference was myself, the head director, the counselors, one of the APs, and Tony.
That's a lot of people for one meeting.
I mean, I don't hate, though, that everyone is coming together because I love when I can get an AP to sit in with me and give me that support, and then I like the student to be there because I want them to know that me and your parent, we're on the same team and we're going to give the same information and you're going to hear what that information is, Tony.
Yes, that kind of eliminates the middleman of the he said, she said.
Mm-hmm.
And I also enjoy having a principal or AP or counselor in there too, but only if I am 100% sure that I am not about to get thrown under the bus. As long as I know that admin has my back is actually going to have my back regardless of what happens in there.
Something that stuck out here is what she says about basically trusting no one, about the details of Tony's behavior. Because I had a similar situation with a student a few years ago whose parents were also teachers in the district. And every time I had to call them about their child's behavior or lack of work ethic is what it really was. It was, let's have an in-person meeting to discuss this. And one, that's not a good use of my time. We could have had this discussion over the phone. But, okay, cool, you're trying to be supportive. That's where I was trying to come from. But really it was what are you doing? Because my child is saying something different. Oh, was it vindicating when I was able to bring proof to the table that their child was lying to them? Physical proof. Like, you cannot argue with this physical proof here. And it was so vindicating to see the look on their face because they had the baby angel child. And he was brilliant. He was very smart, but he used his smarts for evil, not for good. And for trying to get out of things and trying to play the system. Back to the meeting. Tony was always in our parent meetings, and he usually sat there looking innocent, literally.
Of course.
When the parent would ask Tony a question, he would solemnly swear yes or no. It doesn't even say solemnly swear, just my brain put it in.
That wasn't why I was looking at you, but I appreciate the reference all the same.
Let me go back. When Tony would ask a question, he would solemnly answer yes or no when we knew he would literally be screaming, continuing to be disrespectful, and rarely listened when he was in our production classes. Sweet baby angel Tony.
Mm-hmm.
He was mostly in the class with my head director, and apparently this parent had had enough. when she came to volunteer for UIL, it was really because, you ready for this, Sly?
I don't think I am, but go ahead anyway.
You know why she was actually coming?
To spy?
Yep.
Oh, check that out.
She was really coming to spy on me and my head director and spread the word to the other parents what a horrible job we were doing and that we could not discipline the students.
You're welcome to submit your application to be a substitute teacher in my classroom at any time.
What a great
Feel
idea.
free to come sub and then tell me how I'm bad at my job.
If she wants to volunteer so much and do a better job,
'Cause
great.
I'm apparently so bad at it. Feel free. Come sub.
She goes on. Now, I am an African American educator. The parent was African American, and so was Tony. The head director was Caucasian American, white, and while it has been statistically proven that there is a school-to-prison pipeline that adversely affects African American males at a greater rate, and while white teachers were more likely to suspend African American males, I can honestly say that this was not the case.
Okay, so 2 thoughts. 1, I can absolutely believe that Tony is sitting there going, no, I didn't do that. Because, I mean, we've already established that he is a good getting the lead in a play. We have already established this, so I don't...
Life acting is different than stage acting, I will say that, but he has had a little bit of practice at this point.
He's been trained. Not practice, he's been trained.
Yes.
So...
All right, what's the other one?
Anyways, as far as what'd you say it was, the...
Prison pipeline?
The school-to-prison pipeline. So I read recently that they can actually predict the prison population based off the 3rd grade reading scores on the standardized tests.
That's interesting.
It is, and it's crazy to think, like,
What's the correlation?
Because, you have to read to pretty much be able to do anything.
Right, but why 3rd grade?
Because that's like, if
like
you
the sink
do
or
not
swim?
have the basic skills, like you don't know phonics, you don't know letter sounds, if you don't have those fundamental skills mastered by 3rd grade, you are going to be behind in reading forever, like for a while, and it's going to be really hard to get caught up. It's really hard to get caught up, and once you're behind, you're behind.
Yeah. No child gets ahead.
And it's really difficult to focus on that one kid and move him on and get him caught up without significant work. And schools don't have those kind of resources because we're not given what we need, the time, the money, the resources to truly help these kids get where they need to get. But basically, it's if you are behind by the 3rd grade reading, it's STAR in Texas, but if you are behind by the 3rd grade reading STAR and you do not do well and you fail, they predict that you will always be behind in reading, and kids who are behind in reading do not do well in school because you cannot do well in any subject without reading.
And then they act up because they don't know what's
behind,
happening.
Yeah, so they'd rather be a distraction. So then they're behind and they're more likely to fall into crime, and which puts them in the prison pipeline. And it's really sad to see that they can do that. And what's really scary is how accurate they've been.
That is.
With their population guesses.
I wonder if that goes along with, and I was talking to another African American educator at my campus, someone I highly respect for her opinion, and I was questioning her on kind of like a theory and whether she felt like it is also a thing, and that is that we don't discipline in school. There's almost no discipline that we're allowed to do, like real consequences.
And it's true.
And my theory is that we are teaching kids that they can get away with all these things, and some of them are to me quite serious things.
Yeah.
And there's no consequences that they really feel.
And plus there's not a lot of parent support when it comes to that either.
Right. And so if they're learning that my actions and my choices don't have consequences when they are an adult and they're not in a school atmosphere, and then their actions have real consequences, it's going to be a lot harsher. And it's going to create more of that prison pipeline. And she did agree maybe that is a thing or could be a thing, because she agreed that we don't adequately dole out consequences.
No, we absolutely don't. And I mean, like, as an example, we had a parent come in front of her 3 children. Her 3 children were with her. She came in. She cussed out our AP to her face in front of her 3 kids. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say what she said, but she called her a racist.
We don't need to, but we can imagine.
It was ridiculous. And So, her kids learned how to verbally harass and assault people and abuse people, but also that when she did pull her kids out and brought them right back the next year, that you can treat people like that and still get what you want. Mm-hmm. Because there was really no repercussions for them.
Well, they weren't doing the actions, though. It was the parents. So,
but the kids learn from that.
Well, of course they do. But
so the kids learn, I can go into class, cuss my teacher up and down, left and right, and then I can transfer schools, or even not transfer schools, but then I can be right back in class. How many kids have you ever
they don't go to
sent
ISS
to the office and they come back with candy? I don't know if that happens in middle school, but it happens in elementary.
Oh, my goodness.
You send them, and they walk right back with the principal or the counselor, and they've got a Starburst or a chocolate.
That's awful. I've definitely had a student, let's see, she threw some chairs around, she messed up, she destroyed part of my personal property that I purchased to use in my classroom and for the students to use, but she destroyed it and spit on it, and she got, if I remember correctly, like a lunch detention, something like this. So 20 minutes of not sitting with her friends. That was the consequence. And and those don't go on their record.
I thought vandalism had a higher.
It should have, but this is what we're talking about, right? So
yeah, but then also, what are we really teaching them? Because, and I mean, it is true because teachers and schools and principals have their hands tied on what they can really do.
That's what I mean. That's what we're teaching them.
You can't impose any real consequences that would teach them anything. So what are they going to do when they get a job?
And then they behave this way.
Their boss doesn't have to put up with it, and then they're going to get fired. And then, God forbid, they do it up in the court system. The court isn't going to take pity on them because...
Well, and that's what I mean. And so that is why, to me, it seems like we're creating a pipeline rather than avoiding it, because consequences are there to get kids to stop and think before making choices, to stop them in the moment of impulsivity and let them say, do I really want to do this? Because this is going to happen if I do. And if we don't teach them that they need to stop and have that moment of clarity,
we're not friends.
Then when they get into adulthood and they don't stop to think, we haven't trained them to stop and think about their consequences because there wasn't any before. And I can only imagine the choices that they're making and what the consequences are. That it's I don't know.
And I really wonder how much instant gratification goes into this.
Right.
Because these kids are so used to, order it on Amazon, it's here in 3 days. We're doing a fundraiser, and they're like, how fast does it get to your house? Is it like DoorDash? I'm like, no, it's not. No, the company's not DoorDashing popcorn to you. That's not happening. But they're so used to instant gratification with everything. You want to talk to someone, call them, text them. There's not this learning to wait and work through things and make this decision. They don't have that ability yet.
Right.
Because they're not being taught it.
And that's what we need to use those consequences to do. So that was we digressed quite a bit, but I think that was an important conversation to have.
Yeah.
So in the parent meeting that she had with us, so remember that this is Tony's mom and Tony and the AP and both theater directors and the counselors. The parent passionately screamed at the head director regarding the well-being of her son. Okay, now we know where he gets the yelling from. Mm-hmm. And how her son was an African-American male, and how educated African-American males were an endangered species, and how the parent felt that the head director was blocking his education. Okay, so I know there's one thing in this situation that I know, and if he's in this advanced class, the likeliness is that these two teachers are working together and they're co-teaching, which means that any choices that are made for Tony are made by both of them. And as this teacher stated before, not only was it not the case that they were, bullying him as teachers, right? Or singling him out, but both the white and the African-American teacher were making choices for this child.
Yes.
So I cannot imagine that it has anything to do with race when he's behaving this way everywhere. And if he's behaving this way everywhere, he's going to do it in front of them. If in the parent meeting is yelling, well, there's your sign. So the parent not one time took any accountability for his behavior.
Shocking.
Not once. But here's where you're going to have a problem. Neither did the AP, nor the counselors step in to diffuse the argument. In fact, they let this parent speak, and really, the head director was on her own.
Okay. Admin. Do not let parents verbally berate your teachers. If you want to keep teachers at your school...
Especially good teachers.
Good teachers, yes. If you want to keep teachers at your school, you cannot let parents abuse them. You cannot let people verbally berate them. That includes the students. You cannot do that. You have to have their back.
Yeah, and I think this is why I want my AP to join me in certain parent meetings. Like, I know which parents I need an AP for. And I have them there because I know that they will 100% support me. On the flip side, I also know that they know that my choices are fair, right? I don't do anything I don't do the gotchas for kids.
Yeah.
I run my class in a way that is high on respect and, mutual community kind of stuff, kumbaya, but because they can trust me, I can also trust that they're going to have my back. And I know that that's how they treat our teachers at our school. That's why we have a high retention rate.
So the other thing, I wonder sometimes if parents don't think that we just pick 3 seats in our room and the kids who sit there, sorry kiddos, you're the 3 I'm going to bully this year because you sat in my bully chairs. Sorry.
No, we don't have time for that.
I swear some parents, though, think we do it. No, we don't have that kind of time. I don't cause problems. I don't need drama in my life. I
teach drama and I don't want it in my life.
So, but there's the thing. It's I don't have time for that.
I don't have time to call you, to email you, to set up parent meetings and use the precious little time I have for grading and planning my next lessons and making the copies and all the things that we have to do to be good teachers. I don't have time to add on top of that, pick on your kid. It's not enjoyable. All right, so wait to hear what these teachers did to prepare for the meeting. So she says, me and the theater director had emotionally prepared for this meeting. We knew that we were going to be blamed for all of his behavior in school, and thus we seriously meditated, went over possible scenarios and reactions for the meeting, but in any case, even after the preparation, I was still shell-shocked. It was truly the first time I had really seen a parent be totally blind to their own students' behavior and completely blame the teacher, even though she too was a teacher. I mean, how were we going to rebuild a theater program with a parent who was constantly there to truly knock us down whenever she didn't get her way?
Can we just take a moment and appreciate the irony here that the theater teachers had to rehearse how the meeting was going to go? Can we just take a moment to appreciate that? Talk about on-the-job training.
I didn't even catch that, but
on-the-job training right there.
Okay, you're going to enjoy this.
I can't.
You're going to enjoy this story I have of parents that just didn't believe or totally blind to their students' behavior. I had this one student, and she didn't do her work. She just didn't do it. Didn't do it at school, didn't do homework. I rarely give homework anyway, so she just didn't even do her work, right? We have this educational management system, right? Learning platform. And so we can upload assignments and they can do their assignments right there online and blah, 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 right? And the benefits are that it timestamps when they open the assignment, when they submit the assignment, and how long they were actively working on the assignment. And these are the things that help me show a parent, and this parent in particular, I had an in-person meeting because her student wasn't doing her work, and this parent didn't believe me and told me, oh, she's perfect. She said she did it. She told me she'd do it, so she must have done it. She doesn't lie to me. So I have this meeting with this parent, and I show her my computer, and I show her students' time-stamped, date-stamped assignments, and how they were only just submitted maybe 30 minutes before this meeting I had with her mom. And the conversation about her having done these assignments were 2 days before, when we set up this meeting. And she insisted that her student had done these assignments, and that she was, she wouldn't lie to her mama.
Never.
So I'm showing her this on my computer screen, and what do you think the mom says?
I really want it to be, oh, how dare my child, or something to that effect. Or, you know what, you are totally right, teacher, and I will rectify this.
This would not be a good story if that's how it ended.
Oh, that'd be sad.
No, instead she said, well, the computer must be wrong. Today we have a Why We Do This from an elementary teacher in Katy, Texas. Sometimes it's the little moments of levity that fill our cup. This moment wasn't deep and meaningful, but something that I will always be able to laugh about. I was having a pretty rough day, and my patience level was lower than normal. I had finished giving instructions and asked who had questions. Well, one little fellow, who we'll call Eddie, was particularly interested in the assignments. Not the norm for him, by the way. Well, Eddie had lots of follow-up questions. I mean, lots. I was glad to see him participating and answered his bajillion questions. Remember how I wasn't having the best day? Well, when it got to the point I had basically re-given all the directions, I told him and the other students, no more questions. It was time to get to work, and they could rely on a peer's assistance if they needed to clarify something. Well, little Eddie, as interested as he was, raised his hand one more time. I told him, I said no more questions, see what you can do first. And he replied in the most sincere way, but miss, it's not a question, I'm just asking. Now, had I been in a better state of mind, I probably could have held my laughter better, but I really needed that full-on, out-loud belly laugh.
Oh my God.
How adorable.
I can picture me in this scenario and the WTF look that would be permanently stuck on my face of just like, wait, as I like insert that meme of that lady with all the math symbols going around her.
Let me figure out.
I'm like, wait,
what you mean?
Isn't that the same thing?
Okay, I have this wonderful story about my daughter, and when she was 6, it kind of relates to this no more questions, right? So I think she was 6. We were driving home from school, and she just talked and had all the questions in the world. One after another. I'm answering them and answering them and answering them. Oh my goodness, I swear it was like 5 hours home. But finally I said, look, I'm going to need you to stop. No more questions, just for a couple minutes. We're going to have some quiet time. And she's like, but I've got one more question. I said, no more questions. Just one more, please. No more questions. Just hold it in your head. Just remember it. And then you can ask it in a couple minutes after we have just a little bit of quiet time, please. Because I just entertained 180 students all day long, and then your 50 bajillion questions. So please, just 2 minutes. And then it's quiet for a moment, and then she just whispers, but zombies. So Sly has her own things that work today. And this is a wonderful one. She shared it with me a little bit before, so tell us what you have.
So I am starting the process of getting my life together and getting super organized this year, and part of that organizational system is having student ambassadors. Because I have had 8 new students in the last 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Across 6 different classes.
That's too much.
Yeah, and they all need a binder, and they all need a packet, and they need to know what pages need turned in out of that packet, and there's so much information. And then God forbid they didn't come from choir, or they're new and they missed all those introductory lessons. So that's a lot to have to catch up 8 students on, especially when I had 3 of them in one day.
Well, and then they're in different classes, so
Yes.
it's like, if they're all in one class, it'd almost be easier.
Oh, it would be. It would be. But of course they're not. They're spread across like 5 different classes. So I have assigned student ambassadors. And because I teach choir, I've done different voice parts. So I have like 2 ambassadors in my soprano section and 2 ambassadors in my alto section, because the odds are I would get multiple kids in the same class and need more than, 1 or 2 ambassadors. And so plus the alto can help the alto along with the alto stuff, and she can copy the solfege out of her binder, and she can help her follow along and so forth. And they have a buddy to sit by.
Words I didn't understand, but okay. Mm-hmm.
So she can help.
I get the point.
Yeah. So anyway, but that way they have a buddy on the first day, somebody who's greeted them, gotten them their supplies, given them a binder folder slot, and they can come tell me the number, but someone to kind of help them walk through and catch them up on those introductory lessons that they missed. And so that way it's a lot less work for me, Hashtag student ownership. So, and that way, because I really want my choir to feel like a family, and I want that to be the centering point, is that they help each other.
Yeah, I love that.
And so that really feeds into that. And our theme this year is Be the Light. And so they are welcoming a new student, showing them around, teaching them things. And without my guidance and without my asking them to, they actually take it upon themselves to take this as their role for the student as much as possible. So a lot of times they will get their schedules out, look and see what their schedules are, see how their schedules match up, and they'll actually help walk them to different classes.
Oh, I love that.
Or they'll say like, hey, my class is just down the hall from here, so if you get out of your, third period class and wait for me, I'll meet you and I'll walk you to your fourth period.
And that also helps give someone that's new to the school maybe a friend or somebody that they know, an anchor at the school.
And it's not just in one class. My kids are taking it out of my room and they're applying it across the board.
I
and they're
love that. That's brilliant.
They've come and told me they're even doing it in other classes. Like, oh, we got a new student, in this class, and I walked her to her next period before I came here.
Okay,
and
so I'm stealing this.
Yeah.
I am going to create the same thing.
Thank you.
I use workbooks that I've made for my students, but I can definitely, I like this idea of having a packet of all the beginning of the year paperwork, signatures I need, whatever information. Then I can have that already ready to just hand you.
Yeah.
Or, no, not me. The ambassador can know where they are, go grab a paper, grab the workbook, show the kids where I love that. Well, thank you for giving me some work to do for the week.
You're welcome, because, you have tons of free time.
All of it.
All the free time. Just have mini-me run your class. It's okay.
Now it's your turn. Have you had an experience that would make a great story? Submit it to our Google form for consideration. You can teach any age, grade, or subject. Have a feel-good story or advice for other teachers? Share that to be featured on the pod. All entries are anonymous unless you give specific permission for us to use identifiers. Your comfort in sharing is important to me. Also important is your feedback and suggestions. Teachers, anything you want to hear advice on in particular? Non-teachers, anything you want to know more about in the teaching profession? Use the suggestion link in the show notes. In addition, I'm asking you to please write a review if you are enjoying this podcast. I always hear other hosts emphasize how important this is for expanding their audience, but didn't realize just how true that was until I had my own. So if you could please take the time to rate and review. I get 8 weeks from release to make Apple's new and noteworthy list. Help me get there by rating, reviewing, and then sharing from the Apple Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for joining today's episode of Bad Teacher Tales. If we made your day slightly better, or your job seems slightly less absurd, hit like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps us caffeinated and somewhat functional. Want to share your story anonymously? The link in the notes is open 24/7, something your planning period can only dream of. Just kidding, those don't exist. Stories from all corners of education are welcome. Anyone who witnesses the madness and magic, we want your tales. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at @BadTeacherTales to drop your tales, memes, and coping strategies. Got suggestions, comments, questions, or topic ideas? Email us anytime at badteachertales@gmail.com. Unlike Teachers on Fridays, we actually read them. See you again soon. Try not to quit before then.